What's up, what's up, what's up, my beautiful, diverse American people? It's me, JD, the good JD, George Delata. And today I'm going to talk about things that keep me up at night. I think you guys that have listened to me and watched some of my videos that follow know that I lose sleep um, for things that maybe the average person just doesn't. But one example is the night that they bombed Venezuela. For whatever reason, I couldn't fall asleep that night. I wasn't watching the news. I didn't know anything that was happening. But I just couldn't fall asleep. When I woke up in the morning, I saw that news. Is it causation and correlation? Is it connected? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But in some way, I do believe that we're all connected, and that this big experiment that we're all experiencing, um, you know, crosses over to all of us. So that's one example. Another example is something that was directly from a cause. The night of the tragedy that our neighborhood suffered, that a little girl got hit by a van in an intersection. She did everything right. She was in the crosswalk on her bike with the light. She lost her life in that intersection. So that night, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep. So from that day forward, every morning I get up, I stand on that intersection just to make sure that that tragedy never happens again. Otherwise, I couldn't sleep. If I did not know that I was going to do that, I could not sleep. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. It's just the way. And I've always been that way. I've had some type of a little foresight. I don't know if it's premonition, foresight, but just a little bit different mentality than most. So today I'm going to go into reasons why I can't sleep. Right now, where I'm at, I'm in the Midwest, and it just bothers me. It bothers me that right now there are cities, municipalities, counties bending over backwards, fighting with each other over wanting to build these detention centers slash concentration camps instead of fighting and competing to build homes, to build schools, to build education centers for people that can benefit from education and training and contribute to the society, instead of trying to create slave labor in these warehouses that they want to convert to detention facilities, where eventually they'll put in the manufacturing in those warehouses that those slave labor prisoners will work at. So right now, that's keeping me up at night, that these communities would much rather have a prison, a concentration camp, that they don't know what the hell is going to happen inside, because we see the treatment that they do to human beings in broad daylight on multiple cameras. We see how they treat humanity. Imagine what they'll do behind those walls of those warehouses for humanity that they're fighting over building in these communities, rather than entertainment, empowerment centers, community growth opportunities. They're not interested in any of that. They want to house humanity to take advantage of them. So right now, that's one of those big things that are keeping me asleep, along with obviously the criminal syndicates regime's attack on brown, on minorities, on existence in a land where we were here first. So here's some of the reasons why I can't sleep. And this one goes specifically to those billionaires. If you follow my videos, you see that in my Patriot Billionaire Empowerment Acts, we're going to make sure that love those billionaires and their billions stays in this country. That Billionaire Empowerment and Fairness Act. That, yeah, we'll tax them, but we'll also ensure that their patriotism stays in America. So this goes out to the billionaires, to the trillionaires, and just putting myself in your shoes, in your luxurious beds, and I'm thinking why I wouldn't be able to sleep if I were in your shoes. Number one is, I'm going to start with the bombardment of TV commercials on usually the retro channels, the antenna channels, the me channels, the ones that are playing content specifically that older Americans are going to watch. And every commercial is either for drugs, Bembeck, Madindic, Marindic, Wordindic, whatever, what the new drug of the day, or why you need to send just 63 cents a day, $19 a month to Save the Rainforest, St. Jude's Children's Hospital, Make-A-Wish, Shriners, Team Homeless Housing, Wounded Soldiers, Domestic Violence, Tunnels and Towers, Covenant House, Heart Association, Easter Seals, Animals, SPC, all those that they're all just asking for just 63 cents a day. That's it. To those who have the least, guilting these senior citizens on every commercial, constantly pounding you to send your 63 cents a day, your $19 a month, because I guess they've done the math and they know that that's the number. $20 is too much. 18, $19 a month. 63 cents, because they all ask for the same amount. Meanwhile, the SPCA, they're billionaires. Their CEO gets millions and millions of dollars. TV commercials are very expensive. And if they can afford to advertise every spot for one of these, means that they are mishandling those millions and millions of dollars to put onto TV commercials when they could be using them to help those very needs that they're advertising for. So if I were a billionaire, I would buy every one of those institutions, fund especially the children's hospitals, St. Jude, Shriners, Make-A-Wish, Easter Seals. Number one, they will be fully funded so those kids, so those families, so those people don't have to be exploited on television for their CEOs to get their multi-million-dollar salaries at the expense of the senior citizens that are sending that money. Because I assure you, 90% of that money comes from senior citizens on Social Security because that's who they're targeting. So those are things why I can't sleep. So I would remove all those ads targeting senior citizens specifically and put those ads on the finance channels, on the stock market channels, on the channels that the wealthy watch, so that they can fund those nonprofits and remove them from all those senior targeted TV stations. That's one of those reasons why I can't sleep. My beautiful, diverse American people. The world, we need your help. We need global leaders to start sending direct messages to the criminal syndicate regime that they are watching, that you are watching, and you don't like what they're doing to us. This thing with Greenland isn't isolated. What they want to do to Greenland, they're already doing to Venezuela, and they're actively doing it to us. Those paratroopers that are getting ready, that everybody says they're going to deploy into Minnesota, yeah, they might. I think they're going to deploy them to Greenland and start stirring the shit. Because these are malevolent people. Period. This is not the Founding Fathers' vision of a nation built on freedom. This is not what Antifa fought fascism for. When we came to the rescue of Europe, when you had your fascist problem, we have one now. We have one now. So we need a rainbow mafia of every color, because I love everybody. I love every American. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't even care that you're a moron motherfucking ass licker. Because you've been weaponized. It's been done to you. It's not coming from you. Your nature is to be a good, loving human being. Humans are born loving. We are not born hateful. All those things are learned, are imprinted on you, are passed on generation to generation. And because we did not deal with ignorance and hatred, it festered, and it festered, and it festered. And like the boil always does, it splurted all over us. And that's where we are right now. So we need Denmark, France, England, the Allied Nations, NATO, Germany. Start making a plan. I know you have. I know you guys. You aren't. You aren't the beta boy bitch barky morons that we have at the helm right now. Thanks to Elon knowing the counting machines. I know you, but you know better. But don't wait. Don't wait for the concentration camps to be built. There's cities fighting to build concentration camps. They're fighting for it. They don't want to build housing. They don't want to build schools. They're closing schools, in fact. They're defunding. They're taking money away from neighborhoods, from communities. This very neighborhood, this school zone district where that little girl was killed, just voted to close more schools. That's all they do out here in the Midwest. Because Maximilian Robespierre said it best. The secret of tyranny is ignorance, while the secret of freedom is education. And there you see it. They want to build concentration camps. They want to build these detention facilities. At the same time, they're closing schools. They're closing businesses. Left and right. There is not a business. Sports teams leave these states. And then they wonder why. Let me tell you, man. I used to watch a lot of the cowboy movies back in the day. And in specific, Kansas City was like always at the center of a lot of these cowboy movies. And man, I had this delusion about Kansas City. I thought Kansas City was on the par with New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Dallas. I thought Kansas City was, it was the gateway to the West. Lewis and Clark launched all their shit from there. I was thinking that Kansas City was the smartest, most intelligent, most progressive, most almost futuristic idea of what, in my mind, I thought Kansas City was. But see, I was spoiled. And like many of us, we were spoiled, man. Especially those of us that grew up in South Florida, which is basically the melting pot. New York is the melting pot of the world. But of the United States, it's Miami. It's South Florida. And because were there so early, we saw it grow. I saw it grow. Every sports team, I was there before those teams were even born. That's why my passion has to be with those teams. I grew up with them. The first season of the Miami Dolphins, we were sent to go to that thing over there across the street that just go over there and see what they're doing because there's something happening there and just get out of the house, get out. They kicked us out. And we found football. And that growth, I thought, was across the country. I thought people loved each other, no matter what color they were, no matter who. I thought we were that melting pot across the country. And then COVID hit at a time when I was just getting my business to boom. Small home improvement business doing impact windows and doors after working for almost a decade for a big box retailer doing the same thing in those departments. I studied architecture. I worked for engineering companies. I worked for architectural firms. It was something that just fit right into everything that I was, and I was growing it. It was called the Impact Depot. Impact Window Depot, Impact Door Depot were all the websites that I had. The last sale of 2019 was an $89,000 interior door sale to a hotel chain with the insides to get the entire chain to do the same, to sell doors to the entire chain. So it was set right there to explode. I had just put a lot of money into marketing, into advertising, into Facebook ads, everything that I could do to get my business to grow. I grew it out of nothing. I had a U.S. trademark, which is probably still active for my business, and the intention was to grow it into a franchise with a twist, with a new way of selling home improvement projects that was going to be a hit. There was no question about it. COVID hit, the lockdowns, the shutdowns. I spent 11 months doing everything humanly possible to save my company, to save my business, to get through, and nothing. I got nothing. I was one of the 300,000 small businesses that were just allowed to die. And I lost everything. Everything that I had ever worked for, my home, my studio, my art gallery, my business, my everything I ever worked for, and ended up homeless. Made a poor choice to accept what I thought was help from someone that I put my trust in. Oh, before that, like I said, something had to give, and it was me. I had a stroke that nearly ended me, hemorrhagic. When I got to the emergency room, the doctor, a Cuban guy, said, "Listen, not too many that come in here the way you did walk out. God's not done with you." And I didn't even think about it, but it's true. He was right. So I had that stroke. Weeks after, not even 2 weeks after that, I had to empty out my warehouse, my business, my home, because I had a warehouse where I had a loft upstairs, my business, showroom, everything downstairs, work studio. Ended up homeless. And rather than sticking to my guns, again, I was just out of a severe stroke. My brain was not working well. I listened to someone and followed their advice and left my place and my city and my town and was dropped off in an abandoned, roach infested, vermin infested. Every critter under the planet had moved into this abandoned RV in the woods where I was expected to feel at home. I had another stroke. Survived that, and took my resolve, my cojones, to overcome where I had been thrust. Sick, homeless, no help, because these people would not even help me with food. I think one plate of food they gave me on the first night there, because the day I got out of the hospital from that second stroke that they thrust me into, pretty much finding myself with what the reality of what their help was going to be, which was nothing, a hole. I recovered. I built myself up. I cleaned that RV to the point where once I left, he was able to rent it out. The property where that RV was this disgusting filth, garbage. I took out more than 20 garbage bags, huge garbage bags of just garbage that they were throwing under their porch. Because he tried, a realtor came to that property to look at it, and she told me, I'm not touching this. I would not even think of selling this property under these conditions. And while I was there, I cleaned it to the point where then he sold that property. So when I left, even though I was thrust into deplorable conditions, I left it better than I found it. To the point where he went and rented it again. Obviously, it was this horrible guy, and it became a nightmare because when you do things out of greed, they never work out right. And that's where we are right now. We're seeing greed be the driving force for everything. And that never ends well. We need love and intelligence. We need leaders who are driven by love, not by greed. And we need communities that want to empower people, not imprison people. So, in result, I think there really has been some kind of a shift. We're in bizarro America right now. This comic came across that really details the shift that we've undergone. Was it 2012 that there was a shift? Some say we've moved into a black hole. That's why malevolence is seen as good, where ignorance and hatred, because this mentality that because we are the most powerful and we are the biggest and we have the most weapons, we have to dictate and destroy and do what we want, is the predator's mentality, is the rapist mentality, is the pedophiliac mentality. The power they have, they're going to use. So it's no surprising that because now they have the biggest nuclear stockpile on the planet that everybody obviously fears, they're going to be as predatory, as big a rapist, as big a murderer as they want because they have the power. That's not Jesus. That's not the good of this world. That's not what Louis Armstrong said when he said, "What a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world." It is a wonderful world when beta boy bitches are put in their places. So, to contrast what they're doing, when I'm president, I'm going to launch the largest white deportation effort in the history of this nation. If you are white, you are going to have to prove that you belong, that you have never committed any kind of an infraction against brown people who were here before you, and we're going to eliminate the vermin of whiteness that America has been infected with over these past 150 years, that they were not dealt with. We're going to exterminate all the white people in America under my leadership. See how stupid that sounds? You see how stupid that sounds? That's what you're supporting. That's what they're doing to brown people, the people who look like me. And I'll get it on these posts every time I'll get it. Well, where are you? Does ICE know where you are? Listen, motherfuckers, I was born in this motherfucking country. My father served in the U.S. Army and disappeared defending this fucking democracy. And I served in the U.S. domestic intelligence community, risking my ass, going into places where fully armed law enforcement wouldn't dare to do the work for you. So you can post your pathetic little spineless beta boy bitch ignorance on these platforms in freedom. So ICE can kiss my big brown cock. Because Abraham Lincoln said it best. We the people are the rightful masters of both the courts and the Congress, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow the men who would pervert our Constitution. And we see a daily perversion by these beta boy bitches. You saw one in a church. He's a nice director, and he's in a church trying to pass himself off as a loving Christian man. Because Christianity has been weaponized before. It's not the first time. There's nothing Christian about what they do. There's nothing Christ-like about what they do. But now they want to go after the protesters because we're in bizarro America. If you don't know what bizarro means and you're not from the Superman world, it's an upside down world. It's a mirror where good is bad and bad is good. That's where we are. We're in bizarro America. So we need to end this stupid shit and get one of us in there. Doesn't have to be me. I want to be president. Sure, I would love to be president. I know I can do a better job. Just because I will be governed by love and intelligence. I have no interest in greed. The $400,000 a year salary that the president gets will be the best motherfucking job I've ever had. I'm gonna work with more vigor than those ICE agents busting heads and destroying people, because those are morons who couldn't get a job paying over $10,000 a year. So now they're getting $100 grand. They're gonna kill motherfuckers if they're allowed to, because it's the best motherfucking job they've ever had. Oh, that's what we need as a president. We need someone who's never had that kind of money. Not someone who's going to give it away because they're going to steal billions. I don't need $400,000. What the fuck do I want $400,000 for when I'm going to steal billions? No, the $400,000 to me means everything. I don't need anything else. In fact, I don't even want to be president more than 4 years. I'm too old. At my age, by the time I'm elected and the election comes around, that's it. 4 years is enough. Just turn it over to the younger generation. Turn it over to intelligence and love, and get it out of the hands of ignorance, hatred, and greed. It's the only purpose. It's my only purpose. And that's why God wasn't done with me. So I'm going to continue to post my videos. I'm going to continue to speak my freedom. Lo voy a hablar en el idioma que me sale de los cojones. Porque como un americano libre, puedo hablar en el idioma que me sale de los cojones. I said that I'm going to continue to speak in whatever fucking language I want, because as a free American, I can speak in whatever motherfucking language I want. That's intelligence. What you all don't have. And that's why in one of my first day executive orders, I'm going to provide translators for all you dumb fucks, so you understand every language around you, pre-programmed with 100 language, so you can never say you want somebody removed from their family, from their lives, from their jobs, because you don't understand what they're saying. In the language that gives them so much more depth and fills their life culturally like yours doesn't. So that history that you're trying to embrace, that white supremacy, that's not good history. Your history is this, the one we're making now, together, of a rainbow mafia, of a nation built on freedom, that will put all these beta boy bitches in their place. I love you. I love every single one of you. Even the ones that hate me. I love you. Even the Cubans on the Roots group that say, because that's as far as their brain can elevate any kind of expression. I love you. I love you. I love you. And it is a beautiful world. It's a wonderful world when we make it that. When we let beta boy bitches who fell ass backwards into wealth declare themselves geniuses because ain't nobody else would, and unleash ignorance and hatred. Because when they said they're going after the worst of the worst, you guys misunderstood. They meant they were going to hire the worst of the worst. Not go after them. They were going to hire them. That's why they put ads in white supremacist newsletters and the beta boy bitch on websites. That's where they recruited from. That's why you're seeing this level of ignorance and hatred and violence. Because these are vile human beings they went out to specifically hire. And personally, I have a lot of friends who are law enforcement, real law enforcement, who from the time they were little boys wanted to be law enforcement. In fact, I have friends who went to the FBI Academy. And I guarantee you that they got to be disgusted that these beta boy bitch criminals and racists are calling themselves law enforcement. and that these troglodytes are referring to these criminals as law enforcement. That's an insult. That's an insult to every real law enforcement officer on the planet. And you should be outraged by this deplorable regime. But then, remember, they like being called deplorable. Most people will be called deplorable and they go out of the way to show they're not deplorable. No, they double down on deplorable. They love the idea of being deplorable. And it shows. Way too long as always. God bless you. I'm George Delata. Crazy and impossible. We the people. United. What terrifies us.